What's up YouTube, it's Louis here. I hope you're all well. Today we'll be looking at Vechain on the daily time frame, then we'll zoom out and look at the weekly to see where we're going to continue going. But we're bouncing off the 1618, and usually this is going to be a sign of a relief rally in the short term, but we can see some very key resistance at the 1414 because this is previously where we're having bounces upwards. So to get above this would show some good short-term strength if you were to reclaim this, of course, previous support, now resistance. So really what we should be expecting is a rejection. Once we see a close below this, let's say we don't go up, let's say we just go continue low. If we see a close below the wick, that's your signal to go lower. But if we do come up to here, if we've got wicks upwards, if we've got any of these candles over here on this line where the body's closing under the line but the wick's going above, that's a further short signal for a short-term trade downwards to continue to these two targets. Now we'll quickly zoom out. However, to look at the further more confluence in this area, but quickly, if we do reclaim the 1414, you also need to fight the 1 fib level, guys. This was the high low over here, and we were saying as long as we're holding this, which we were over here, we're going to expect this push up. And we formed a bullish cross. We had a final push up meeting our targets over here, which we're calling for on the channel, because we had some specific patterns, three patterns actually signaling we were going to get pulled towards here like a magnet. That's why we drew the magnet over here. But unfortunately, because we didn't hold this as support due to the FTX scandal, that's why we fell up back under the bullish cross, forming a bearish cross. So we can't ignore that. And that's why it's a signal that we're going to get this downtrend continuation. So now that we have taken out the higher low, which was a signal, we're definitely losing that. So you can see we took them both out in one day. But essentially, even if you do come into it, you're going to just turn it into resistance. We've already done it on one occasion already. Even over here, when we reclaimed over here, I said it wasn't enough. You could fall back into this pattern and do something like this. But yeah, I was just believing that anything's a lower high, you're just going to continue lower eventually. And if we go to the weekly time frame now and zoom out, you can see we've got a weekly lower low close, and that, my friend, is not a strong candle whatsoever. Wicks to the top means that it wants to drop further. So that's what we got here on the resistances. When I do see it on key supports or resistances, so if we look to the left, you can see in the same area we got wicks to the top, we got it here, you fell over here, and then again over here. So that's your area. If we draw a box, we've got one over here. So you can see we've got rejected in the past in this area as resistance. So that's why we need to see a close above that, as well as this red box. We knew we were going to come back after this red box, but only because of the FTX, we lost the low. Without that, we would have held the bullish cross over here on the daily time frame. Right there, the bullish cross. But then it flipped into a bearish cross, so it can't be ignored. That's why I told you guys straight away over on the Bitcoin updates. Make sure, if you haven't been tuning into the Bitcoin updates, to do so. You should start off, when you watch my videos, start off with the Bitcoin updates. It's the most important one of the day. It's going to tell you where your what you can expect in your altcoin video. For now, yeah, I'll get rid of that in a second. But as we zoom out, you can see we've got some two targets down here, longer term ones. If I'm measuring from the low, from the bottom of this push to the top of it over here, because we had this golden pocket. If we had not lost this golden pocket, we could have seen this continuation. But in doing so, that's fine as long as you hold the low, which we were doing, and setting ourselves back up to reclaim the gold box over here. But failing to do so, it sent us back under the low. I remember in the video at the end of the week, I showed you a fractal that's actually going to take us lower. But where we are holding support right now, or coming into at the moment, there's a key resistance over here that's acting as support right now. You potentially might get this bounce, but again, you're just going to run into what was previously support at around 2 cents back as resistance if we were to climb back up. But there is a case where we do come lower, and I'll show you some targets. We do have some shorter term 2 targets over here. If I get rid of the larger fibs, here are your shorter term 2 targets. And what's interesting, it's lining up with some very key support here, and then some resistance right there. So this will be an area where we can expect to get pulled towards if 2 cents is not reclaimed. And as we can see, if I get rid of these fibs right now, you can see with the weekly candle, it seems as you've come into it and you got rejected, and you didn't close anywhere near the top, you got rejected. So the wick is saying, I was up there, didn't like being up there, I've rejected it, I don't want to be up there, I don't like being up there, I don't want to go up, I want to go down. That's what that candle is telling me. That's what the last one's telling me as well. You were getting these rejections, but of course, that's not enough to say we're going to lose the low. That's a signal that we're going to come towards it, then we're going to bounce if there was no FTX event. With the FTX event, yeah, the second biggest exchange was a scam. Come on, guys. This is just going down and down. I don't see any recovery in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Need to be realistic. This is damage. What billionaire wants to come in? They're only going to come in to use ledgers or whatever, but they don't know how to use it. Of course, they're rich enough to find out how to know, so they will eventually. But yeah, for the near future, they're not seeing it as a investment opportunity to make money in the coming months. They're thinking about very long term. So that's why at the moment there's no need to rush to buy. When we bottom, do you remember, if you've been tuning into my Bitcoin updates, Bitcoin USD, on the Bitcoin updates, when this hit, I said before it even hit, when the bottom comes, it's going to take 6 to 9 months of consolidation. We were doing it for 5 months, almost on the 6th month, we were about to break out. Well, 5 months in, we were about to break out, and we had it taken away from us. So now the bottom is not in. Of course, this can be a bear trap, sorry. I'd love that to happen, but again, you need to take out this high, and that's not likely. You're just going to flip this old support now into resistance to expect a continuation lower. But again, once we do bottom, expect 6 to 9 months in that range until we start going up, and there might be another event, because over here, when we dumped on the 5th of May, when we started losing this higher low, just exactly as the 18.6k higher low over here, this was the same. You came up, this was your higher low, hold that going forward, you came back into it again, you went under, but you held it. Wicks telling me I didn't like going down, I want to go up. You came, held it, but eventually when you lost it over here on the 5th of May, when you lost this key support on the 5th of May, it was a signal we're going to go lower than this low, and the 5th of May was a lunar crash, and the day that we lost this higher low over here on this candle right there, that was of course FTX crashing, so FTT, sorry. But yeah, it's crazy how it's happened, and now both eclipses as well, which is weird. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the VET update today. Vechain update. We are expecting it to potentially, if these key supports that we just pointed out today are not holding, then we could expect as low as, under 1 cent again, guys, because that's sort of where the 618 is. There's going to be a key psychological level there, so there will be a very big bounce, but bounces into resistance again. So there's literally no rush into buying where you think the bottom is, because you just let it consolidate, and then once it's actually showing you bullish signs, because when I first bought Vechain, it wasn't all the way at the bottom. When I first found out about Vechain, it was about the end of 2019. So where's the end of 2019? So I found out about October, November time about Vechain, sub 1 cent. I was playing around with it, didn't put any money into it. And I only started taking it serious in this range over here, where it was at 2 cent, 1 cent, back at 2, 3, and then back to 2. That's where I started buying very heavily in between there. So I was here for all of that. Of course, I sold at 23 cent, invested it all back down here, and got out when we actually, at a break even over here. And then it re-entered around here, and got out again over here, because no signs that is actually going to reclaim here. I got out because it showed a lower low. Once it showed me a lower low, I knew this is not going up in the short term. So here, buying the bottom, accumulating for 5-6 months. As soon as it showed me it's not going up, I'm getting out again, and then waiting for lower prices, because I know that it's going to go down. You might not believe so, that's completely fine. I'm back over here, I was saying the same thing. Remember, I've already said how this is essentially the same thing last week. We're seeing that on Bitcoin. Please, I urge you all to follow the Bitcoin updates, because I've been saying this every day over there. So you must be informed, because if Bitcoin's showing you this, then Vechain's going to follow. It doesn't matter if it's not move for move with Vechain, but if Bitcoin is going to follow that fractal move for move, then Vechain's going to go down as well, essentially. So that's why it's important to tune into the Bitcoin updates. But back in January, at the beginning of this year, when we lost this higher low over here back in January for Bitcoin, I sold all my cryptocurrency cryptocurrency. Well, every single cryptocurrency that I had, I sold 50% of them. Vechain was included in one of them because we had a lower low. And I said, if we break this high over here, that's when I'll re-enter. I didn't mind that I'm selling low to buy back higher because I want proof we're going back up. And for me, that would have been enough. I wouldn't have gone all in again, but that was enough to show me that we're at least coming back up to this area over here and then this area. So that's what was ahead of it essentially, but we didn't even manage to break above this. So I did not buy. You just ran into the resistance. So even though after I saw it pumped, it was a lower high. Why? Because you already made that initial lower low. So you've already made that initial lower low down here. So even if we pump right now, I need to see us closing above the magnet again and over here. For me to be bullish, I need to see this. Until then, I'm not bullish, and I'll only buy up there once it's showing. But it's not even, yeah. Really, guys, we need to reclaim the 2021 low, unfortunately, because even if we come back into this, and we hit this double bottom target over here, this is still key resistance, the 2021 low. So I would expect a rejection, and the bears could say, yeah, you're still going lower like this. The bulls would be saying, yeah, you can catch support here to go up. But yeah, because you're in such a long-term downtrend, it'd just be correct to always be on the bear side now until we're properly changing the structure. So there's no point in like hoping, is what I'm trying to get at. There's just a better, yeah, it's just better to wait until it's showing you. So if we were to get some crazy impulses like this and create a high low and break this high over here, if it's showing you that's a really good signal to get back into crypto. But it needs to do all of that first, and that can take well over 1 year to do, because again, I did not buy at the very bottom. You can see I'd actually, even though I started entering into Vechain over here, it wasn't the bottom there. And even when I entered, it went up, but then it got taken away from me and we went lower. And then I did not buy down here. When was the next time I bought? When it recovered it. I started buying in this area over here. So was I late? No, because I still took these gains over here from 1 cent, to 28 cents. So it didn't even matter that I didn't buy the bottom. I didn't even understand crypto or market structure back then. I just understood, okay, you've made a higher high above this. So as long as you make a higher low, this will continue up. So I just noticed, oh, we're holding around 1 cent, where previously it was rejecting it. Now it's sort of holding it. I didn't really understand too much, but I understood the 50 and the 20 EMA, and I've made some adjustments over time with them, changing it to the 55, because, with experience, you're going to notice things, and I just prefer to use that. There's a lot of other EMAs I decide to use where a lot of people don't use, and the 69 EMA, the 12 EMA, you might use the 8, 9, or 10. I prefer to use the 12. That's just me. That's me personally. I've just found it easier. I've noticed better things with them. Better touches essentially. So did I buy the bottom? No, I missed it. And back down here, everyone was saying it's finished, it's going to zero. Not Vechain, but Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to 2K next, then sub 100, then $500, and then it just spiked from 3.8K to 5K within the same day. But forgetting about that, you didn't need to buy the bottom. And look how much higher I bought in, 650% higher. And it didn't matter. Of course, if I had bought down there, amazing. I'd be even more stinking rich, because whatever you bought down here would have 6.5x. And then whatever you 6.5x, you do, of course, 24 on it. But even though I didn't buy the bottom, I still got that 24, 25x. So do you understand how it's not really deep if you don't buy the bottom? It doesn't mean, okay, when you think the bottom, you don't have to go all in, because again, we're going to consolidate for 6 to 9 months. Then how long is it going to take for this journey to make this big push and then this big retracement and then take out the high? That in itself could be like 1 year just to get back to this after like from here to there could be like over a year. So that's why it's and that's if the bullish scenario happens. But when it does come, I'm still saying it's going to take a long time. But again, in the meantime, I'm still expecting us to actually come down. This is going to be a key support where we do have some short-term bounce back into old support as a resistance. And that's where I believe we come down to the 618. Because as you've now lost the 0.50 at 2 cent, If you come back up into 2 cent, you're just going to get rejected. And you do have a mid-level over here, which I've just shown you today, but it's a mid-level. When you lose the 050, you go to the 618. This is what's going to hold you up in the short term. Thank you guys so much. Help me reach 5K. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today, because Vechain is one of my favorite cryptos. Of course you'd fucking know that, because I was here for that. So thank you guys so much. Please share it. Let's grow this Vechain community, because there's not a lot of you talking in the comments. More engagement, please. More likes. Share the video. Head over to my Twitter, and please, all of you, follow all my Bitcoin updates. I've also got a giveaway for a free course at the moment, teaching you from zero knowledge into a self-sufficient trader. So if you want to take action, head over to my Twitter. Yeah, just enter the giveaway. Of course, follow, subscribe over here, follow there, like the post, retweet it, and you'll be entered in the giveaway. But if you just want to take action on the course, it's currently 50% off, down to £150, as well as the mentorship also being discounted. Just private message me for more information on both of them. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.